All right, everybody, welcome back. You ready to dive in?
Ready when you are.
Okay, so today we're tackling a topic that seems like it's been everywhere forever. But honestly, I still feel like I'm missing something. Bitcoin.
Yeah, it can be a little like that, can it?
Yeah.
Like you hear all this buzz, but what's the actual substance?
Exactly. So let's try to break it down. Like, back to basics. Bitcoin. What is it really? I mean, I hear people say it's like digital cash. Is that it?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's more than just that? Think of it less like dollars and cents and more like digital gold, maybe?
Digital gold. Okay, I like where this is going. So Bitcoin first popped up in 2009. And here's the thing. No one knows for sure who created it.
Wait, what?
Seriously. The creator or creators used the name Satoshi Nakamoto. But to this day, it's a total mystery if that was one person, a group, who knows. Their true identity is still totally unknown.
Okay, that's already way more interesting than I thought this was going to be.
Great.
So we've got this mysterious creator. But what makes it so different from, say, using my credit card online? Okay, so with your credit card, right? You've got banks involved, you've got processing companies, all that. Bitcoin, completely different. It operates totally independently of banks or governments.
So no middleman.
Exactly. It's what's called a decentralized digital currency. No single entity controls it. Instead, all transactions are recorded on this public ledger called the blockchain.
Blockchain. I've heard that term thrown around, but honestly, no idea what it means.
Think of it like, imagine a giant global spreadsheet that everyone can see. Every time a Bitcoin transaction happens, anywhere in the world, it gets added to this spreadsheet. It's constantly growing, constantly being updated, and everyone has access to it.
Okay, so it's like this shared permanent record, starting to get the appeal. But hold on, if there's no one in charge, what's to stop someone from just creating a bunch of fake Bitcoin?
That's where this concept of digital scarcity comes in. Think of it like gold. We can only mine so much of it from the earth, right? It's a finite resource.
Right.
Well, Bitcoin's built the same way. Only 21 million Bitcoins will ever exist. It's programmed into the system, like a digital version of the gold standard.
Okay, so limited supply. But then how do people even get Bitcoin in the first place? I've heard about this whole mining thing, but it sounds kind of like something out of a video game.
Yeah, the term mining can be a little misleading, but it's actually a super fascinating process. So picture this. You've got this global network of computers all working on these crazy complex math problems.
Okay.
These computers, these miners, are competing to solve these problems. The first one to crack the code gets to add the next block of transactions to the blockchain. And for their effort, they get rewarded with Bitcoin.
So it's a constant race. Secure the network, earn some Bitcoin.
You got it. But that brings up another point. All this computing power. We're talking a lot of energy being used.
I was going to ask about that. There's been a lot of talk about the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, and it's a valid concern. The energy consumption is definitely something to consider. But there are different types of mining, some way more efficient than others, and there's a lot of work being done to try and make it more sustainable, like using renewable energy for mining operations.
That makes sense. New tech often comes with some bumps along the way. Okay, so we've covered what Bitcoin is, how it works, but what makes it important in the bigger picture? What's the point? Why should people care?
That's the real heart of it, I think. Think about it. People who don't have access to traditional banking or those in countries with unstable currencies. Bitcoin offers them a way to store and transfer value safely without relying on anyone else.
So it empowers individuals, especially those who might not have the best options otherwise.
Exactly. It can level the playing field in a way that traditional systems just can't. But there's a flip side to that, of course. One of the big criticisms of Bitcoin is how volatile it is.
Yeah, I've heard stories about the price going crazy, people making and losing fortunes overnight.
And those stories are true. The price can swing wildly, which is definitely a risk. But for some people, that volatility is part of the appeal. High risk, high reward, like the early stock market days.
That's like digital gold rush.
Yeah.
So where does Bitcoin go from here? What's the future look like?
If I had a crystal ball. Honestly, it's really tough to say. Governments are all over the map on how to handle it. Some are embracing it, some are banning it. It's a very complex landscape.
So the future is uncertain, but even with those challenges, it's definitely shaking things up.
Oh, absolutely. It's a total revolution in how we think about money, the power of technology, everything.
We've gone from mysterious creator to digital gold rush to potentially reshaping entire industries. And to think we probably haven't even scratched the surface.
That's the thing with something like Bitcoin. It sparks so many questions, opens up so many possibilities. Like, think about it. If we can use this secure, transparent, decentralized tech for money, what else could we use it for? What about a blockchain-based voting system or tracking goods in a supply chain? What about totally revolutionizing data security?
Wow. Mind-blowing.
Exactly. So I'll leave you with that thought. Think beyond the Bitcoin we know today. What could this technology become? What role could you play in shaping that future?
That's a great place to leave it. Thanks for taking us on this deep dive. It's given me a whole new perspective on things. And for all of you listening, keep exploring, keep learning. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next big Bitcoin breakthrough.
Keep that curiosity alive. You never know where it might lead you.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Ah.
And on that note, we'll catch you next time for another deep dive.